TNA Impact. Now, let's do a little serious here for about maybe a minute or so. Opening of the show. Let me give it to you like this. If you check WWE, they're not acknowledging what happened much. Maybe they did it on X. That's about it. But what do we get here with TNA? They acknowledge the shooting that happened in Minneapolis in the church. I'm going to say this. Make it as brief as I can. As much as I criticize TNA, and you know I do, I have not played around with telling you, be careful, watch what's going on. You never know what we're going to get with the company. But I am going to acknowledge when they do the right thing. And lately, they have been doing decently good work. But here, compared to WWE, which I'm not saying they didn't try to acknowledge it at any time, maybe on X. I didn't see SmackDown last week. And as far as I know, Raw didn't have anything that was talking about when it came to the shooting. Even though they were abroad, they could have said something. They could have done something, but they did not. I'm going to say this. They acknowledged it. They put out a shirt, and the vendors have all agreed 100% of the proceeds, well, all the money they get, is going to help the families of those who've been affected by those who were killed, those children, and what happened at that church. Look, guys, I try not to put any politics or religion in this channel much. I've talked about what I believe in, but this is a bit different. It's upsetting to see that children died, and children have been hurt. But it does make your heart feel good to know that even though this company, which is owned by Anthem, is at least acknowledging a situation like this, and they're doing something about it. I just wanted to say that. I know that was long-winded. I'm sorry. Let's open with Matt Cardona versus Kaz. Now, I could open with something else, like Santino, but I'm not going to do that later. I'm going to give you like this. Have I been getting annoyed with... Let me give it to you like this. Is Ryan doing a good job as an annoying prick? Yes, he is. He's doing his job, talking about his big brother, and pretty much building up to the expectation of him coming back tonight. Matt told him to get the hell out of his ring. Then he lays him out. And then we have the match between him and Kaz, which from what I understand, they never had on Impact. Ever. They never faced each other in Impact. Doesn't mean they didn't face each other on the Indies. They just never did it in Impact. So this was a first timer. And it wasn't a bad match. I was okay with it. But you see Ryan interfering, and Kaz won the match. And he made it very clear afterward, after he used his fade to black, and the Matt was outside on the floor next to the steps waiting for Kaz to do his bit. We see something that I'm wondering when they're going to pull the trigger on. I'm wondering. Gia Miller interviews a Kaz and makes it very clear, do you feel good about having someone help you win? And Kaz makes it very clear, you know what? Give me that mic. I'm going to do your job because you're not doing your job. Ask me questions. Don't give your opinions. And it made me think, and he's going to go for the international championship because he has been messing with Steve Macklin. That's the one he wants to get the title from. Not trying to get it from Trick. Not at all. He's just trying to get that. Or the X Division when it comes to I would rather see someone else to deal with Leon Slater. It would be nicer with somebody else, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But he's not going for Leon. He's not going for Trick. He's going for Macklin. Fine. But here's a question. When is Tessa coming back? And when are we going to get Tessa versus Gia Miller? Maybe the beginning of next month, they'll start building into it, or the end of this month, they may build into it. Because we have until the 12th, I believe. Yeah, I think we got until the 12th of October. That's when I think Bound for Glory is going to happen. They got to do something soon. Tessa's got to come back if they're going to do anything with Gia. That's counting if Tessa's not doing a movie. I think she was doing a movie. She's not injured. I think she went to do a movie. That's why she's not there. But if she finishes the movie in time, they can build a story between her and a Gia Miller. Not saying that's a great... Let's make it very clear. If there's 3 weeks away from a Bound for Glory, at least that's at least a little time. But if they do it within 1 to 2 weeks, I'm not going to be for it because Gia deserved a lot more better than that. And even Tessa deserves better than that. Like I said, I want to see Tessa Blanchard get proper building. Now, if she comes back within 3 weeks before Bound for Glory and they start building it between her and Gia, that is what I want to see. I want to see them build a story between the two because they already set the stage for it. But that's if Tessa's going to come back in time. That's just me. Moving on. Now, what did I feel about the three-way? I don't know. Let me give it to you like this. The three-way match. Let me give you like this. You see Jody Threat, and then you see Danny Luna. There's either one or two ways they're going to go here. They're either going to turn Jody heel to join Danny, or Danny is just going to be completely lost and unhinged, and she's going to take out every woman on the damn roster. I believe they're going with Danny Luna, instead of turning Jody Threat into a face, to a heel. That's the way it looked. Because the match between all three of them were not bad. Jody Threat and Danny Noonan did a lot of work in between each other because they have the most interaction. When it comes to Indy, now, I know people are going to say Indy just can't wrestle. She can wrestle. You look at the match. Was she great? No. But she can get the job done in the ring. It's just that you have to understand. There are people who have instant chemistry between each other. And then you have people who do not, but can learn how to work with each other. Indy's the type of person that needs to work with someone to get used to them, and then she can do good work with them. That's just how they are. Jody Threat, Danny Luna have been with each other for quite a long time. They even wrestled each other at one point because how Spitfire was having such a bad mojo time. So they know how to mess with each other. But if you say that Indy cannot wrestle, you're not right. I'm being 100%... I'm not an Indy fan. I'm making it very clear. I don't hate her, but I'm not a fan of Indy Hartwell. I see she can do good work. I also see that she can at least hold a decent and good mic segment, do her mic work. And she does have a distinct look. She's not like everybody else. So she has a certain look. She can talk to a certain extent, and she can wrestle to a certain extent. I'm not a fan of her. I'm just not. I wasn't when she was in NXT, and I wasn't on the main roster. I just figured they would at least do something with her, which they did not. But here, at least you can say they are working with her. She may not be one of the best workers there. She's not. But you cannot say she's here. She's here. She's an average pro wrestler. There's nothing wrong with that. It just depends if you can get a good storyline and work with a good person that can make you, let's all say it together, relevant. That is the word for today. Relevancy. Relevant. To mean something. To be something. So people would love you or hate you. Or, very rarely, if it works, somewhere in between. Because not all the time a tweener works. A betweener doesn't always work. Very rare ones do, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He worked great. But that's the one I think is the best out of anyone that's ever been a betweener. Because yes, they had some good betweeners, some bad betweeners, but the best ever known has been Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm sure you're going to say, what about Hulk Hogan? Yes, he's been a betweener, but he's never been as big as Stone Cold. I'm sorry. And nothing away, we cannot take anything away from Hulk Hogan. He was the best heel. He was the best face. A betweener was okay. But for me personally, it's Stone Cold who's the best betweener in history. Let's move on. Now, 6-person tag. We got the Great Hands and Tasha Steelz versus a... Let me give it to you like this. I could leave this for the last because this feels like it's important. But I'm going to do it here because I want to talk about all the segments in the back. and in the front and in the middle. When you look at Mara Shade, you would think Miss Jackson, you nasty. That is what was her name? Kiana Jackson. That's what she was in NXT. She really didn't do much. She was eye candy. She was able to wrestle until she broke her wrist. And then she worked as the Meta Girls with Last Legend, who is doing decently well right now. She really didn't get very far. She just didn't. Now she was released from WWE, has gone to Europe, has now started working with TNA. And here's the thing that can make a person and define a person, good or bad. She's now working with men. Now, the match between her, the Hardys, and the Great Hands and Tasha was okay. She's not one of the best workers. Let's make it very clear. And I'm going to be honest here. Miss Sade, she face, boobs, she good looking. There ain't no way to hide it. She could be a heater anytime, just like when it comes to Scarlett Bordeaux. She's just as much of a heater as Scarlett is. But you can say to a certain extent, she can wrestle a good amount. Now, is she great at it? No. But she can transition from wrestling to be a heater. But she made the choice to do what Jade Meechan or Mia Young had decided to do and wrestle men. Or at least, and as well as Tessa Blanchard, work with men. Right now, she's been nailed by Agent Zero. And after the match was over, and they did win the match, I'm not surprised they won the match. It was Jeff who pinned Skylar in this situation. They get nailed by the Nemesis. She's not willing to back off. And let's make it very clear. She was biting off Alita. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of women who try to emulate Lita. There's nothing wrong with emulating Lita. That's the greatest level of flattery. And I'm sure Lita really appreciated that if she was able to be there. But she chose to look like Lita in this match. No problem. Fine. As long as she doesn't jack her neck, she'll be fine. And that's not meant to be a joke either, because you know Lita jacked her neck. She broke it. But the point here is this. She chose to work with men. She's already been nailed by Agent Zero, and she got super kicked in the face by Nick Nimitz. She got a super kick to the face, and she went down. Not all women do that. Not all women do that, and particularly not all the time in TNA, Impact Wrestling. Yes, they've done it with women, but not a lot recently. They have not. The only one who's done it the most in recent time was Jordynne Grace. Before her, it was Tessa Blanchard. It was a mix of Jordynne Grace and Tessa Blanchard. There's no way you can deny it. That is the way it looked, and that's the way it's been. So she's made the conscious choice to say, look, I want more. And she said, all right, we're going to put you with men. Let me have it. And that's what she's doing. Are they being gentle with her? Of course, to a certain extent. But she's still going to get nailed and she's still going to get hurt. So I will give it to her. Mara Shade is deciding to work with men as well as women. That is how she could get over. Will it work? It's going to depend if they're going to make her a heel after she's been a face or keep her as a heel. That's going to be the question, if she can hold. Let's make it very clear. She needs, once they build her up enough, she needs to be able to talk. She needs to be able to wrestle. She needs to have some charisma. And yes, she got the body. Let's make it. Girl, she's sick. She's hot. She look good. I'm an old man, okay? But I can see niceness in front of me. I see it, but she's got to have the other qualities that I talked about to a certain extent, because she cannot just go by her looks. Because if it's going to be that way, eventually just going to make her into a manager. But if she really wants to be more and she's willing to work with men, they will help her to build up confidence and at least a certain level of ability by talking with her in the back, working on her mic skills, working on trying to build a character and charisma, and working hopefully more on her ring work. Hopefully the Hardys, if she may actually be willing, not saying she will, she may actually be willing to try and do a Lita style of pro wrestling, because she has to build similar to Lita. The only difference is her boobs are bigger than Lita's. So let's see what she'll do. Now, let's talk about the most interesting thing, the stuff that happened in the ring and in the back. I'm going to give you like this. Seeing Santino talk about Santana, and then Santana getting the opportunity now that he's going for that title at Bound for Glory was, and let's make this clear, it was telegraphed. We knew they were building up Santana to become champion, but we also knew it's going to count on how they build him, not that we know he's going to be champion. How are you going to build someone to make them interesting to be champion? If you don't know how to build someone to become a champion at the signature pay-per-view you have, it don't make a difference to try and even build them. Because, let's be honest, and I'm being honest here, Impact Wrestling didn't do it always very well, but they did do 101 booking. TNA now is also still doing 101 booking. Basic booking, make a person a heel, make a person a face, make someone a character funny, make someone a character bad, make someone a character good. They're basically doing the basic stuff that NXT used to do when it was 2.5. That's what it is. And I'm not saying it was perfect then with NXT. But what we're getting in TNA now is basic booking. And if you haven't heard, and I'm sure you haven't, at this time right now, compared to Silver Lake WWE and AEW, you don't hear complaints from TNA. Dude, even JD has acknowledged he hasn't heard any complaints from people from TNA. You know why? Because they're doing basic 101 booking, very similar to what happened in Black and Gold NXT. Is it having the same style of wrestling like NXT Black and Gold? No, it is not. But they are doing basic, straightforward booking. It may be telegraphed, but at least you can see the building going on. It doesn't always work. It can be sloppy, but it is what you can see. And Santana is a prime example of that. So they built Santana pretty well. And I'm glad they have. Now, Santana went to the back. He spoke to Moose and then he talked to AJ Francis. I'm going to give you like this. Do I want to see Moose go up against AJ Francis next week? No. Put them on Victory Road. Make them mean something. You hear Tom, well, you guys tell me. Tom was botching a lot today. I don't know what it was, but he was botchy today. Messing up some of his lines in the beginning of the show after what happened when they talked about the shooting. Well, they didn't say the shooting directly, but they had shirts and all the proceeds from people buying their shirts would go straight to the Minneapolis Arnhem Church. Harsham. I think Harsham Church. I'm sorry, I mispronounce things. Unless I know it well enough, I will mess it up. I'm sorry. But he was botchy after that. Maybe it was more emotional than he thought if they had recorded that part of it together, because they do insert it later. But if he did, maybe he was a bit emotional about it. But you can see that things have been pretty well built lately. I'd rather see Moose and AJ Francis at Victory Road. Just give me that. Now, the Ash party. Well, the Ash celebration, but the Ash party. What did we get for the party? We got Ash in a bottle. I said it. Ash is in a bottle. And it's not in a bad way either. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't know about what gamers will get from certain streamers, like their water and the other water, right? There's two types of water a female streamer can give. Two types of water that streamers can sell. That's the bath water and the other water. I'm not saying what it is, but you can take a guess what I mean. Ash in a bottle made me think that, and I'm going like, I know it's stupid and it's not something they meant, but that's what it sounds like for me. So it was okay. The segment that Ash did herself wasn't great. It wasn't meant to be great. It was meant to be stupid. Ash is a comedic wrestler, and she did what she was supposed to. She's supposed to be the savior, and that's how she acted. And once we see Marsha come down to the ring and say she wants her match at Victory Road, right now, as it stands, she's getting a match at Victory Road. She got the fight in the ring, and then the second gift of the concierge, the Iceman, was given to Ash, well, before then. And that was a picture of her as the queen. Well, basically, she looked like the king of England, wearing a crown and stuff, but it was the queen of England. That's what they were trying to be in that respect. But Ash was so happy about the picture until Marsha basically foam boarded, destroyed the foam board picture. I know I didn't have to do that, but that's a little bit of mystique being taken away. But come on, when you look at it, you know the picture was printed on a foam board, and it made it more easier for her once everybody had been ejected. The inspiration came out. Ling Lang Lee and Zaya Brookside came out to help out Marsha. She got a chance to break through the fourth wall, which was Ash as queen of TNA. And she was just mad on the floor, pounding her butt on the floor. Was it funny? To an extent, yes. That's the way it was supposed to be. It's not meant to be super funny, but it was meant to be funny enough. Now, let me say this. And I want to say this. As it stands, that's all you got. That's all we got for TNA. The one thing that was the most important to me, Dani Luna showing that she looks like she's done and now she might be becoming a major player, is the most important thing you got, next to Santana being basically announced as the number one contender for Bound for Glory. Of course, we got Indy Hartwell, who's going to be Bound for Glory number one contender as well. She has been, but due to the fact she got beat up along with Jody Threat, it's a big question what's going to happen. Will it be an Indy Hartwell? Or will it be Dani Luna trying to get another shot at Indy so she can take away that number one contendership? It's hard to say yet. That's the reason I'm not including it. But it's just two things. But let's make this very clear. Is it bad booking? No. It's basic booking. As I said earlier, we are getting basic booking from TNA. And to be honest, and I'm being honest, it's better booking than what we get from WWE or AEW. AEW is not booking correctly. No matter how much you love it, and I've said this in my AEW review, it's not good booking. They tried to address it this Wednesday, but when you look at the overall product, it has not been good booking. It's not about the wrestling. It is about the character development, the storylines, how a person is going to get from one part of the story to another. They have not been doing it correctly. They may have tried to address some of the issues, but it's still sloppy. And it's very bad booking still. Moxley should have taken time off, but he's chosen, or they chosen not to have him. Windsor doesn't mean anything. When it comes to Mercedes Moné, do you actually believe she's going to lose to Rio? And if she did lose to Rio, with no build from Rio, no words from Rio, just having a straight match, do you actually care? You won't. But look what we got here. Yes, the Ash build has not been one of the best, but it is a build. She's worked on NXT. She worked in TNA. She won the title. You care at least enough about Ash to see her get that damn thing off her waist and put it back on the Marshall or someone else, like Indy Hartwell or Dani Luna if that happens. Look at Trick. Trick is not one of the greatest wrestlers they have, but he's a damn good wrestler. He does characters pretty good. He does his wrestling pretty good. But guess what? Right now, he's one of the better people that has been booked in WWE at this time, either Raw, SmackDown, or on NXT. And he's up against Santana, who himself has been booked very well. The story between the two has been done decently well. Yes, I haven't forgotten about when it comes to Eric Young and Joe Henry. I don't want to talk about it because I think they should save this for Bound for Glory. They should build this up, but I'm waiting until next week to see if that match gets thrown out and they push it to Victory Road. Because that would be the best way to at least do something with Eric Young and do something with Joe Henry, because I just don't think the next week is the right thing to do. But we don't know yet. But honestly, the booking is simple but good. And that's going to be the title of this. The booking is simple but good. You can see the booking here. It's not perfect, but at least it is good booking compared to Dynamite, compared to Raw, compared to SmackDown, and the most part, NXT, and that's not something I'm really happy about. I'd rather see all of them have good booking. I don't care which one is better. I just care about them all giving me good booking that I can enjoy and do reviews on. But if only one company's doing proper reviews, it makes you go, what the fuck? Come on, dude. Give me better booking. Not formulaic booking that is boring from WWE and erratic booking that is so bad that what is going on with Hook? Do I care about Hook? No. Do I care about Ricochet and Gates of Agony? You see I'm messing up the Gates of Agony name. I didn't believe it. But it's just me. Peace.